It's 1:23 in the morning. You're asleep. Ludmila is beside you, her hair across the pillow, her breathing slow and quiet. You've only been married a year. You're 23. She's pregnant. Life is exactly what you always imagined it would be. Then your phone rings. You pick it up. Fire. Reactor building. All units respond. You don't think. You never do. You're a firefighter. Thinking comes after. You pull on your uniform in the dark. You don't want to wake her. You kiss her on the forehead, and you walk out the door. You don't know it yet, but that kiss is the last normal thing that will ever happen to you. Pripyat is still asleep. It's a beautiful city, 50,000 people, playgrounds, schools, a fairground that's supposed to open in 4 days for May Day. You pass it on the truck. The Ferris wheel just stands there in the dark, perfectly still. You can already see the glow. It's not the orange of a normal fire. It's something else. Something you've never seen before, almost violet, almost beautiful, like the sky itself is burning. Your lieutenant says, roof fire, reactor building, probably electrical. Probably electrical. That's all anyone knows. You pull up to the plant at 1:28 a.m. The air smells strange, metallic, sharp, like something is being burned that shouldn't exist. A few of the men cough. One says his eyes are stinging. You feel it too. A warmth on your face, like standing too close to an open oven. Except you're outside. In April, at 2 a.m. You put on your gear and you climb. What nobody tells you, what nobody knows to tell you, is that the reactor has already exploded. The core is open to the sky, and the roof you're about to walk onto is covered in graphite fragments, pieces of the reactor itself, each one radiating enough energy to kill a man in hours. But you don't know that. You just climb. The roof is chaos. Burning chunks of material are scattered everywhere. Some of the men try to kick them aside. They're heavy, almost like lead. Strange. One firefighter picks a piece up barehanded and immediately drops it. His palm is already red. You're told to get water onto the flames near the turbine hall. You do it. You're good at your job, but your body is already telling you something is wrong. First, it's the taste. Metallic, thick, like sucking on a copper coin. Then the headache, sudden and sharp. Then the nausea. The man next to you vomits over the side of the roof. Another sits down and can't get back up. In 30 minutes on that roof, you absorb more radiation than a nuclear worker is permitted in a lifetime. In 30 minutes. You don't know this. None of you do. Your dosimeters, the devices that are supposed to measure radiation, so on, have all gone off the scale. The needles are pinned to the maximum. The officers report back. Dosimeters not working. Must be faulty. They are not faulty. By 4 a.m., you're back at ground level. Your skin is red, not burned. You weren't near any flame, just red, like a deep sunburn that appeared in minutes. Your head is pounding. The nausea is unbearable now. A medical worker comes. He checks your pulse, looks at your eyes, writes something down. You're taken to the medical station in Pripyat. Then by morning, a bus arrives. You and 27 other firefighters are being taken to Moscow. Hospital number 6, the one that specializes in radiation exposure. You don't understand why Moscow. It was just a fire. You did your job. On the bus, the man next to you, your friend, Nikolai, keeps saying his hands don't feel right. They're starting to swell. His face is turning. You hold his arm and tell him it'll be fine. Ludmila doesn't know where you are yet. The hospital is quiet, clean. The doctors wear masks. They take your clothes immediately. They won't give them back. They tell you it's precautionary. They give you a room, a bed, white walls. They draw your blood every few hours. The first days aren't so bad. The nausea eases a little. You sleep. Then on day 3, your skin starts to change. It begins on your hands. The same hands that held the hose on that roof. The skin blisters. Then it starts to come away. The doctors call it radiation burns. Not from heat, but from the inside out. Your cells are dying. Your bone marrow is shutting down. Your immune system, the thing that keeps you alive, is disappearing. Ludmila comes. She's not supposed to be here. The doctors tell her it's dangerous. The radiation from your body is still high enough to harm her, harm the baby. She doesn't care. She bribed her way through 3 checkpoints to get to Moscow. She holds your hand even as the nurses tell her to stop. She sleeps in the chair next to your bed. She is 23 years old and she is watching her husband dissolve. You tell her you're fine. You say it every day, even on the days you can't lift your head from the pillow, even on the days the pain is beyond anything you have words for. You say it because she's carrying your child and you will not let her fall apart. Later, she will say that those days in the hospital were the greatest love story she ever lived and the worst thing she ever survived. Here is what the Soviet government knew that morning and didn't tell you. At 1:23 a.m. on April 26th, reactor number 4 at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant underwent a catastrophic power surge during a safety test. The reactor, an RBMK design, inherently unstable at low power, erupted in 2 explosions that destroyed the building and blew the 1,000-ton reactor lid off the top of the core. The graphite inside began to burn. The core was open to the sky. In the first 10 days, Chernobyl released 400 times more radiation than the atomic bomb dropped on Hiroshima. The men who ran the test knew something had gone wrong, but the official line, the line your lieutenant was given, the line everyone was given, was roof fire, probably electrical. Send the firefighters. The word radiation wasn't used. You were sent onto a radioactive volcano in a cotton uniform. Of the 134 first responders who developed acute radiation sickness, 28 died within the first 3 months. Most were firefighters. Most were your age. Vasily Ignatenko, you received a dose estimated at 1,600 roentgens. A lethal dose is considered 400. You died on May 13, 1986, 16 days after the explosion. You were 25 years old. Ludmila's baby, a girl, was born in the autumn. She lived for only a few hours. The doctor said the radiation Ludmila absorbed in that hospital room had been too much. She named her Natashenka, and she held her until she was gone. Ludmila lived. She carried this story for decades. She told it to a journalist named Svetlana Alexievich, who published it in a book called Voices from Chernobyl. It became one of the most important documents of the 20th century. It became an HBO series watched by millions. But before all of that, before the books and the television and the world finally understanding what happened, Vasily was just a man, a firefighter from Pripyat, a husband, a father who never got to be one. He ran toward the fire because that's what he did. He didn't know it would kill him. He didn't know it would kill his daughter. He didn't know it would become history. He just ran toward it. And somewhere in the version of this story that didn't happen, the version where someone in that control room told the truth, where someone said the word radiation, where they sent trained nuclear workers instead of firefighters in cotton suits. Somewhere in that version, Vasily goes home. He wakes up next to Ludmila. He watches his daughter grow up. He never becomes a symbol of anything. He's just a man who lived.